Logic before authority.
Hi guys, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on Logic Before Authority. I've got something with you. I'm working on several videos, but I've got one that just going to record it flat out here real quick, and I'm going to show you because the timing, based on the date, I just want to get this information to you. It's a little bit in raw form, but here we go. I watched and did a quick decode on Donnie Darko. Y'all, hold on now. Don't run off. I know you think you've heard everything about that movie and how it's tied to time travel, how it may be tied to Trump, how it may be tied to... Well, just bear with me for a minute, okay? We're going to come back to this image here. You notice it says the hands are on the 5 and the 5 on the clock. It's when the portal opens in the movie theater. The rabbit opens the portal. You might not know what I'm talking about if you haven't seen this, but the information is still relevant that I'm going to show you here. Okay, this is the very beginning of the movie. The slides are in chronological order, and I'm on number 1 right now. This is where it shows that Donnie Darko's name is Donald Darko, okay? And it shows the date on the prescription of 1/24/88, and it makes the 88 highly prominent. As you can see, I haven't done anything to this other than take a screenshot. Because this was the picture was set in supposedly 1988, okay, which was what, 32 years ago, okay. Going into the 33rd year since this was set at this time, okay. Not that this movie was produced then, it wasn't. It's more recent. Okay, so let's move on here. In one of the first scenes of the movie, it shows the clock at 12 midnight. Okay? 12 midnight, with a little frown face or whatever, but it's the grandfather clock at 12 midnight. And just a little bit closer shot there for you. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to set the time as to when this is in 1988. Okay. Well, we know it was 12 midnight at that moment when that was shot. Okay. Or we assume it was midnight, and likely was, based on the fact that he was in there taking his medicine and going to bed. Okay. And he ends up out wandering around on a golf course and stuff, but that's not... It is tied, but I'm not going to get into it. Then he goes and he shows the numbers, 28, 6, 42, 12, and I'll tell you exactly what those are. Of course, they add to 88, okay, but which is significant, okay, because again, we're talking about 1988, and the what 88 is tied to. 88 is tied to time travel. Excuse me. 88 is also tied to Trump, because his name Trump is equivalent to 88 in gematria or numerology, or it's a frequency thing as well. Okay, but anyways, 28, 6, 42, 12, 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, 12. It means from this moment, which was right here, nope, this one, from that moment that it was going to be 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds until he says that is when the world will end. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go into something saying the world is going to end here. Okay. Nothing ever ends anyways. Everything always exists in another form, even if it leaves its current form. So it's just like when you boil water, it turns to steam, okay? Or you take wood and you burn it and it turns to heat, okay? Things like that. So we got 28 days from this date. What is this time? When is this, okay? we'll see here in just a second. These are a few more slides that are relevant because just an engine fell out of the sky and landed on the house at the very beginning, meaning the first day. Okay, the first day of what? It landed on his house, and this girl says they don't even know where it came from. Okay, then it shows the center of the engine, which is relevant. The swirl is the relevant thing. We're talking about the swirl of time here. Okay, and it goes on. They get into talking about well, we won't worry about that for now. This lady here, and I'm going to kind of skip over it for now probably, but this lady here, Sparrow R. Sparrow, Robin Sparrow, she was an author that wrote a book on time travel. And she goes to this mailbox every day looking for mail, and he finds her here looking for mail, and he don't know at this point whose mail she's looking for. She's looking for his mail, okay? If you watch the movie real close, you would come to understand she's looking for a letter from him. Let's keep going here. All these things are relevant, but I'm looking for some specific things. In one of his hypnotic states, he goes and he this thing here. Well, it's in his school. It's a water line basically. He floods his school. He floods the school, which is interesting. He breaks the water. Okay, on basically the first day. He breaks the water. Okay, think about, I guess you'd want to relate that to birth, maybe, okay? And then it goes on down through, and a few of these things I'm not going to get into, but immediately, right away in the beginning of the scenes, it shows Hallows Eve, okay? So it shows that this is Halloween coming up, okay? So we got Halloween coming up. So we know it back here, it was midnight. It was, let's see if I'm looking for, it was midnight. You can see on here, the date on here was 7/24/88. But as you look closer and closer, you come to realize that it is Halloween, or very close to Halloween. It's in October. You actually come to determine that this is midnight on about the 2nd of October. It's right after the first full moon of October. And during this, there is, at the very beginning of the movie here, this is the other piece I was not thinking of just for a second there. And at the very beginning of the movie, there's a couple of songs that come on. One of them is called The Killing Time. Okay? And part of the lyrics is Under a Blue Moon. Okay? So the editor of the movie is saying, they're telling us some things that that we're talking about when a blue moon is. We're talking about Halloween, and we're talking about midnight for one thing. And we know the clock started ticking at midnight. So if we count from there using Donnie's arm right here, so we assume it started at midnight. 28 days. If we go backwards from Halloween, that would put it on about the 2nd, which is the end of the full moon period that we had this month, okay? And then there's a blue moon during this upcoming Halloween event in the movie, okay? So a blue moon does not happen very often, first off. Normally about every couple of years, okay? And a blue moon on a specific day doesn't happen every it's several hundred years, okay? That a blue moon, like if we wanted to think, when is the next blue moon on Halloween going to be? Well, that's going to be a long ways. We'll all be dead, okay? So, the chances of that this movie is pointing at Halloween this year on the blue moon, and they're pointing to it saying this is when the world ends, okay? Or when some kind of time travel event takes place, okay? Which is very interesting, because again, nothing ever ends. You know, you could blow up the earth and it still wouldn't be the end. It would just be the end of the current creation, the way things are, okay? If you die tomorrow, you don't end tomorrow. You transform into a new form and you move on, okay? Nothing ever ends. Okay, so let's see here. Let me look at my notes. I've got them, believe it or not. Okay, so oh yes, here's the other piece that ties it to this year. In the very beginning of the movie, way back here, which all this is the beginning, but way back here, and all this is going on, some of the first scenes that are happening, okay, right before this happens, right here, the family's inside the house and everything, and the girl says, "I'm going to vote for Dukakis." So it's an election year that has a blue moon in October on Halloween, or near Halloween, because we know it's near Halloween. So we've got like 4 different things nailing this down to this, pointing to this movie is pointing to this Halloween, okay? But what do they mean? Well, they're pointing at some kind of a time shift or some kind of a, I don't know, guys. I mean, I really don't know. I'm not going to try to tell you what it is that for sure what they're trying to do. Okay, let me look at my notes again another second. Okay, so the rabbit in the movie is called Frank. Okay, and Frank, well, it's interesting they called him Frank because his gematria is 50. Remember, we were looking at the clocks a while ago and it had 5 and 5 on it, 550. Well, also who has the gematria of 50 is Donald, as well as America, and as well as an apple, and a snake, and a number of other things as well. But the chances of that not meaning to mean Donald, you know, of course, Donald is the name of the character in the movie, Donald Darko, as well. But who's the president? Who's running for election? We know this is happening on election year. All this is pointing that way to Halloween and election year. And Donald happens to also be running for president? Really? And it's a blue moon? Okay. And there's several, I got a number of other things to show you. It's all kind of a trip. 50 also happens to be Shin. Now, we've talked about that a number of times recently. But here's another one. This is really interesting. And that is, let's see here. Okay, if you pull up 31st of October, which is the date we're talking about, the 31st of October, look what it matches. End of the world and Bavarian Illuminati. Now, isn't that interesting? Nearly like unbelievable. Really, really is. Now, of course, in this movie, they go to talking about time travel, okay? And Donnie, or Donald, says that time travel, of course they talk about portals and things like that, but he says it's like a spear. Okay, like talking about time travel, he says it's like a spear. Okay, and why is that interesting? Well, because Donald Trump's building he lives in is a spear. Well, Trump Tower, whatever, the one that looks like a spear, an upside down spear, and Donald Trump's coat of arms, he's grasping a spear with his fist on the coat of arms. And I've said that is the mastery of time. He's reaching through a cube, reaching through time and through water, because you can see water spurting out on each side of his crest, and he's grasping a spear. Now, Donnie Darko says that it's like time travel travels like a spear. And I've also on my channel talked about the spear of destiny, and that I believe that Donald Trump has the spear of destiny, the spear that was used to spear Christ on the cross. And it puts the owner in charge of time and of destiny, supposedly. But all this is really, really strange. So it says it's your life force that travels forward out of you, out of your heart, is what they say. Out of your chest, out of your heart. And here's old Donnie wearing his Triumph shirt, Of course, it's about a motorcycle, right? But he's wearing his Triumph shirt. Another indication. Then it shows him looking at the calendar of October. So further confirming that we are absolutely, my assumptions are correct, that we are in fact in October. And they are counting down the days. Here he's playing with a Rubik's Cube before he went to sleep. Right after he looked at this calendar, he's playing with a Rubik's Cube. A cube. The mark of the beast. If you Google cube, the word cube, and 666, see what you find. You'll be fascinated. Read some of the links and stuff, look at some of it, and look at the photos. I just click over and look at the photos. You'll find it very fascinating what you find. But the cube is just like the invisible Lucifer's ink tattoo that Gates is trying to get going. It's a cube inside of a cube, which, when you look at it from one perspective, is an X. Okay? It's an X. That's what all these X's are doing all over the floors everywhere. Because, again, XXX is 24, 24, 24, which is 666, which is an X looked at from one perspective, again, is a cube. Come on, man. Okay, so he looks at this calendar before he goes to sleep, and it shows a white house that's burnt. A white house that's burnt in October. What do you reckon the chances are? I'm not going to say it's going to happen. But what do you reckon the chances? And then it shows sprinklers. The exact next scene after this is this showing sprinklers. And then Donnie comes back and burns this house down. In the picture. White house burning. Donnie burns down the house where it shows the sprinklers. Then he finds this guy's ID, which lives here, which happens to be a pedophile. And it's found out because the house was burnt down. Donnie burnt the house down. They found kiddie porn in the basement. Yeah. Like Comet Ping Pong, Podesta kind of stuff. And all that's written right into the gematria of all this. This is an image that was in the book talking about how time projects forward out of your chest. Your experience in time is like a spear coming out of your chest, is what they say. I'm not saying that's correct. I'm just putting two and two together here. Okay? And I haven't exactly determined what the heck was going on here with this little scene. But they go to the movies. It's a Halloween double feature. And the rabbit shows up. Rabbit, you know, the rabbit like that's on the wall in I Pet Goat. Kind of like that rabbit. Kind of a mean look on his face. That's what the rabbit looks like with his mask off. He's missing the eye. Then they show this on the screen because the rabbit wants to show Donnie a time portal. And it shows a clock, the grandfather clock. And it shows the clock at 5:05. You'll find out why that's important here in a minute. So then it shows the portal, and it shows the house. You can start seeing the house, the one that Donnie burns down because he tells him, burn it to the ground. Then he slips out and goes and burns the house down while his girlfriend's asleep because she fell asleep in the movie, and he makes it back before the movie's over with. Everybody else in town is at a talent show that's being run by the guy that gets his house burned down and then goes to jail for kitty porn. Here's Donnie coming out of the house after he's burned it to the ground, as they say. And as Donnie's leaving, it shows the deer, okay? And the deer's on fire, just like on the wall in I Pet Goat to the left of the rabbit. There's some fascination with this. And see, the rut period of deer in the northern hemisphere, when they go into rut, is, well, the dates we're talking about, through October. Yeah. Buck deers are in rut right now. What that has to do with it, I'm not exactly sure. Other than I know horns of a deer, they are shaped like time, kind of. I'm not going to even try to explain that right now. So they're there investigating, and they haul off the kitty porn guy. Okay. Now this is interesting because this is the newspaper the next day for the Middlesex Times, the Middlesex High School. But what's really interesting is showing Jim Cunningham charged with, whatever. Right beside it, though, it says, see how big the lettering is for Jim Cunningham charged? That's the headline for sure, right? Because this is their little town newspaper, it'd be the headline. But here's the real headline, because it's larger and thicker lettering. Skinhead sought in sniper shooting. So they're calling it a skinhead, but white supremacists or whatever, is sought for shooting someone. Enough is enough card come to any of your minds, where it says have a sniper ready for you. Yeah. And thank you again to the gentleman who sent me a whole set of them. This is Donnie's drawing, supposedly, that he did of the rabbit. Yeah. Looks like he's in a bathroom, scraping on the mirror or something like that. Really strange. Of course, mirrors have a lot to do with things, but here's the letter that Roberta Sparrow is looking for in the mailbox every day, because he ends up later on deciding to send her a letter. Okay? But she's looking for it in the past, because they're in a time loop, but they don't know it. The only one knows it is the rabbit, because he's the one that dug the rabbit hole. This scene, I found it interesting. She's talking about, he asked her what is cellar door, because she's been fired. She's leaving. She was a teacher. She wrote cellar door on the board, and he asked, what's cellar door got to do with it? And she starts wagging the flag around as she's leaving. She is waving this flag backwards and forth, making a big deal out of the flag. They wanted it noticed, and they wanted it noticed having something to do with the cellar door. And I know the American flag is shown losing 1 star in I Pet Goat, but I'm not sure for sure what they're saying here, other than I could guess pretty well. They kept doing this throughout the movie, showing how many days left until the end of the world, right? So here it is, October 29th. Only one day remains. And then here comes Halloween. Everybody's having their Halloween party and such. And they kept showing this image that's wallpaper, but they wanted it noticed. The maker of the video wanted it noticed. And there it is, but I mean, I could guesstimate as to what that is, the Arch of Baal or something like that, or basically just a time travel portal, maybe. And then they're partying down, and it's midnight. It shows the clock again. 6 hours remain. Remember? 28 days. Six hours, 42 minutes, 12 seconds. So we have expended the 28 days in the movie. Now we have 6 hours, so it'll be 6 a.m. or 6:42 a.m. and 12 seconds till the end of time in this movie. Okay, let's back up here. Okay, I'm going a little too far. Okay, 6 hours remain. 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds. So 6:42 a.m. and 12 seconds. It's supposedly an interesting event, right? So we've got, this represents the arrow coming out of the chest. Donnie starts seeing people at the party with a portal coming out of their chest, and wherever the portal flows to is where the person walks, and it goes back into them basically, okay? They're following their own portal, their own timeline is what is being pictured. And then he sees one come around the corner, and he sticks his face in and looks down in it, and he sees through the portal timeline, and it's his girlfriend's coming to him. She's coming around the corner in just a moment, and she ends up, they end up taking off. He tells her time's running out because there's only 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds left before the end of time. And they go to Mrs. Sparrow's house, the old lady that's looking for the mail in the mailbox all the time, looking for his letter that comes after he's dead, which I'll explain here in a minute. The rabbit in a Thunderbird, a red Thunderbird, comes rushing down the road because Donnie and his girlfriend have ran off to Mrs. Sparrow's house and have went down into the cellar door. Again, going back to one of the things I didn't really understand exactly, the cellar door. So they go down in the cellar door, and there are two men down in there, and they're going to, I guess they were planning on robbing Miss Sparrow. All this is symbolism. It means something, but it doesn't mean what they're showing you. Just like the fact that this is a Thunderbird, the Phoenix, basically. The Phoenix is going to rise at this moment, maybe, or something that they're talking about, that they've embedded into this movie. But the Thunderbird with the rabbit driving rides in and runs over his girlfriend and kills her. And Donnie ends up shooting the rabbit. And here's Miss Sparrow. She's come out the house, and this is about, this is after midnight, on Halloween. It's interesting, this Halloween, this is the first time ever that I can ever remember they're going to roll time back. Oh my goodness. I just started to say what I've already said on my channel several times. but it's before I did this decode on this movie, that they're going to roll time back on Halloween. You know what I'm saying? On Halloween night, going into the next morning, they're going to roll the clock back. This is the first time ever they've done that. On Halloween? Come on. That's never happened before. So they're going to roll time back on Halloween, and Donnie Darko shows that time rolls back on Halloween. Holy crap. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. That is incredible. Oh my God. I hope that ain't right. Roll time back on Halloween. And we know it's this Halloween. It's everything lines up that it's this Halloween. And they officially are rolling time back on Halloween night. I hope that's the rollback they're talking about. Oh boy, that is so strange. And here comes the next scene. The next morning, the portal comes down out of the sky. The sky opens up. And Donnie's mother's flying back from a trip to New York. And the airplane runs into the portal. And the motor falls off. He happens to be in bed this time, and it kills him. Apparently that's what their depiction of a portal opening up looks like. Light from above, and like a tornado kind of thing coming down, a swirl like on the front end of that engine. There was the engine falling out of the sky where the plane hit it. There it comes down. And it fell back into a different time. How can we do something to make sure? This is making my mind trip out. Then you see it rolled back to October 2nd, 1988, just like I said. This starts at the end of the full moon, the harvest moon, and happens. Hold on. Okay, so here's the full moon on October 1st, the harvest moon. It was at 5:05. 5:05. Does that sound familiar? It does to me. So 5:05, the harvest moon. That was what was on that clock when the rabbit showed him a portal. And then on October 31st, the blue moon. That happens to be Halloween when they're rolling back time. And it says 9:49 a.m. is when the moon goes full. 9:49, so it said 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds. Well, this is the Eastern time zone. That's only 7 minutes off of the timeline that they're talking about in the movie. Not in my time zone, the Eastern, because that's what this is, but in someone that was in the, maybe it's UTC or it's 6 o'clock, if you get what I'm saying. So let me show you what I'm talking about. If you look at the dates, date-to-date calendar, October 2nd, 2020, at midnight. See, I've got the hours and seconds and everything in here. And you come over here and you put in the end time, October 30th, 2020, and add 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds. And you get 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds. Between this time period right here. But for some reason, I think this, unless in the movie they celebrated Halloween on a different day than actually Halloween. We had a calendar, let me look. Let's just find that calendar. There it is. Okay, in this movie, Halloween is shown to happen on the 31st, which was a Monday. Maybe they're celebrating it in the movie on the Sunday, previous night, because that would be people didn't go to school, go to work that day, that kind of thing. I don't know. I'll have to look and see if there was any indication as to whether they celebrated Halloween on the Monday in the movie or was it on the Sunday. But this is absolutely fascinating. I don't know if it's as fascinating you as it is me. Before the end of the movie, it showed this again. The Killing Time. That was one of the songs. I Am the Chosen One match. The Antichrist match. So when Trump said, I am the chosen one, mathematically, it matches the Antichrist. And it also matches Tony Podesta. Remember the pedo reference in the movie? And then Comet Ping Pong also matches, which matches Tony Podesta. So Tony Podesta's name, he named his pizza place Comet Ping Pong so it would match his name. See how that works? That's just like Trump naming The Art of the Deal, his book, The Art of the Deal, so it would match his name in Gematria. See how that works? Donnie Darko equals President, Apollyon, Osama bin Laden, Rockefeller, Martial Law, Melinda Gates, COVID, VACCINE, and also 911. Donnie Darko. And it also matches Sparrow, which was the name of the lady that wrote the book on time travel in the movie. The old lady looked in the mailbox every day looking for a letter that was it's hard to even say it. Halloween. Sirius, which is the dog star Sirius. I Am That I Am, Deep State Kundalini. Yes, we can. It's time. Those are matches for that. I already showed you Frank, and that it matches Donald. We've only got a couple more here. Sheehan and 31st October matching Into the World. And I think that's all I've got here. Yep. Guys, if this didn't absolutely blow your mind, because mine is, and this is why I wanted to bring it to you, because this is well, we'll see how much it means and what happens, won't we? But I would say I'd be paying attention around Halloween. This one, something is going down, I highly suspect. And there was like the newspaper thing in here where it pointed to maybe some kind of a sniper. Remember that? I can't remember what it was exactly, but the sniper event taking place. Yeah, it was right down here. Yeah, right here. Here somewheres. Imagine how much time I put into going through this. A 2-hour movie took me 8 hours. And I do it because I want y'all guys to see what's really being shown. I want you to know the truth. That's why I do what I do. Skinhead assault and sniper shooting. And of course, Trump has a card called Enough is Enough, talking about a sniper shooting him. Yep. Well, guys, I'm going to let you go. That's it for tonight. I love you. Thank you to y'all guys that contribute some money to my PayPal account. I greatly appreciate it. And there's no way I'm going to ever be able to, other than do what I do, to thank y'all guys for supporting my work. I'll put the link down below because I can still use a couple more bucks. But if you already sent some, don't send anymore. And if you're not in a position to make donations to my channel, don't. We all got to survive, not just me. I love you. God loves you too. We'll talk to you again soon, okay? Real soon. Hey, Donna, come in if you want to. You can come in if you want to. Hello? Oh.
Logic before authority.